So I'm working on some bigger videos about lessons from computer or video games, and you may get to see them one day. But in the meantime, I ran across a pretty cool idea while dissecting one popular game. The thing is, what does it mean to play a rogue in modern tabletop games? Specifically in combat, what is the fantasy of playing a rogue? Is it to charge into combat just like a fighter and then perform dagger attacks with the one spell you have called sneak attack? Doesn't that really feel like playing a discount fighter? Or a discount ranger when using a crossbow? And I know there are gaming systems that try to add maneuvers to rogues, but you're still just using fighter tactics. You see, I believe Assassin's Creed gets it more right. Or maybe dishonored. The fantasy of a rogue in combat is to be an assassin, a sneaky bastard climbing rooftops, diving onto enemies from above, or generally from unexpected places, like from behind doors or some crates or from within the crowds of people. In melee combat, the best approach is to disengage, vanish, reposition, and change the strategy, not to clash daggers. Hang on, that brings us back to the point of this video. Yeah, think about it. In WoW, rogues had this energy bar that could be spent on special abilities, and it recharged when you weren't doing anything. And the really cool abilities were expensive, so you were forced to do nothing for a while, giving you time to vanish and reposition. Imagine how this could work in D&D. You could spend an action recharging one of your ability points, which could then be used to deal massive damage or incapacitate or stun monsters or outright insta-kill them. Some limitations apply. But you could do it only once every few rounds, forcing you to spend bonus actions and movement doing other things like repositioning and strategizing about where your one strike should land. The recharging itself could be named meditation or whatever, sort of explaining an ability point gain as observing the battlefield and preparing for the attack. Maybe there could be multiple meditation abilities, each with different strings attached. This would reinforce the fantasy of being a sneaky bastard much more than doing a primary hand sword damage with sneak attack from flanking and an offhand dagger attack for 2 damage. Just imagine using Garroth on an enemy spellcaster, straight out strangulating them so they can't cast spells with verbal components. Like, how cool is that? And why stop there? Consider the World of Warcraft warrior and the concept of rage, kind of the opposite of energy. You could refine that too. Maybe a fighter class that gets these tactical points from damage, 1 point for each damage die rolled, and so on. And a barbarian class that gets rage points from damage received, reinforcing the playstyle of being a tank and wanting to charge headfirst into melee combat. Rage should be involuntary. We could also use a more AoE-focused class like the paladins and shamans of WoW, with their auras and totems, putting a big emphasis on positioning. This is such an obvious inspiration that I'm sure somebody has done it before. But it's a nice example of what we can learn from video games. Anyway, that's it.